So, speaking of top notch, okay, it's always interesting to see films that don't perform well to start out, but they gain traction later on. And that's exactly what happened with Elemental. Elemental is one of those. Um, Elemental is one of those animated pictures that I think had a lot of uh, problems. Isn't the right word. A lot of things going against it. First and foremost, it was coming out the same day as The Flash. Okay, and that really hurt it because The Flash was so anticipated, and everybody was looking forward to that so much that every Elemental got left behind. And all of that being said, I think that when it comes right down to it, that it's one of those things where I think Elemental is going to be a good film, and it's hard to make up once you really don't have a grasp on things. So this comes to us. The reason I bring this up is this comes to us from Variety, and it says Elemental expands into third weekend and whips Indiana Jones. Pixar's animation film Elemental expands at the South Korean box office in its third weekend of release and easily bests the new release title Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Elemental earned $5.27 million between Friday and Sunday, according to the data from the box office tracking service operated by the Korean Film Council. That represents a 38% increase on its previous weekend and was the best for 3 weekends so far. It also increased its market share to 39%, also its strongest market position, despite having a handful of additional screens. After 19 days on release, Elemental has surpassed $16.9 million from almost 2.5 million spectators. The film's third week holdover compared favorably to the new release Indiana Jones, which had a $2.8 million weekend session over a full 5-day opening weekend period. Indiana Jones whipped up 3.98 million. The film's slightly disappointing numbers were matched elsewhere in the world. It turned 60 million in North America, which I spoke about earlier, and 70 million from international territories. It goes on to say that the Korean phenomenon, the Roundup No Way Out, slipped to third place, and Across the Spider-Verse earned $1.1 million in fourth place, and there were a couple of others. The Flash, okay, in its third week of release, made $121,000 for a cumulative total of just shy over $5 million. That tells you something. That tells you something. But to see the resurgence of this is awesome. I can't begin to say how cool this is because this is much needed for Pixar. It may not be doing well in the States. And I would suggest this. Pixar finished with, third this week here in the States. I would suggest it's even going to do better next week. Right? Because, it's going to pick up. This is what I mean about picking up momentum. And I think that this is needed for all of the pictures, especially an animated picture like Pixar. Pixar's Elemental. So definitely. If he directs another Terminator film, it will definitely reassure people's interest in the franchise because there's still a lot of roads left where you could take the series. Yeah, I agree. And, look, there's plenty of stories to be told with that. There's plenty of stories to be told with that. So, and I agree. But yeah, Pixar needs a win. And they need it badly. And I think the fact that you're getting another boost with this, especially in a Korean market overseas, it's a major victory for them. So I'm glad to see this doing well. Anyways, guys, what do you think about Elemental actually making a lot of money in Korea? Do you think this is actually going to boost the domestic box office here? Do you think this could actually have a chance to get to second place next weekend if Indiana Jones doesn't do well? Or do you think Elemental's kind of resided to, taking the lower spots? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody.